Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, stop this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. Everybody in this context refers to us and our cats. You are free to feel however you want about Rand. He's a fictional character. Please don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
I hope that's quieter. I read these chapters like 2 hours ago and I feel like I've forgotten everything that happened.
Imagine how I feel. I read them yesterday. All I know is Ruark died, and that's almost as tragic as Egg dying.
Yeah, it was just a really unnecessary...
Ruark, you've been there for me since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
You've been... It's like all the dads are dying, except for Thom. Come on.
Kill the actual father.
Kill the actual non-biological adoptive father figure. Everyone else's other dad's still alive. Master Luhan.
Abel Cathon.
I don't know where fucking Egg's dad is, but presumably alive.
Yeah, what's his name? Bran,
Alvear. But yeah, all the father figures. I guess Bashir was actually Fail's dad, but really we're talking about father figures to me.
Yeah.
And Bashir was my dad, and so was Ruark. And now they're gone. And what do I have to live for, you know?
Perrin finally remembered that Gaul is in danger, so perhaps we can live for that rescue.
Oh, Perrin.
We'll talk about Perrin undramatically waking up from his coma in a minute.
Whoa.
But yeah, it feels very it feels like it's like hitting on archetypes intentionally or otherwise of like the mentor figures dying, some, confrontation with the father type for Aviendha. Ruark has been a father figure for her as well, and she's the one who kills him, unknowing that it is him. And you're like, okay, but I don't need that. There's only like 40 pages left in the book.
Yeah, do I really have to go through this now?
Yeah.
Is it not enough that Aviendha's legs get blown off or whatever?
Yeah, whatever was going on there, that was wildly confusing.
She's got mangled legs, and it's unclear what that means.
Yeah, it's like, did you get them cut off? Are they burned?
They're kind of smushed, as grotesque as that is. Yeah, smushed leggies. Yuck. She sure can't walk on them right now. I don't know what this means. I hope she'll get a cool wheelchair in the future.
That's what I was going to say. Aviendha, wheelchair user, agenda, number one fan. That's
hell yeah, brother. She could get one of those. She could get a cool she could get the first electric wheelchair since they're building cars or whatever.
Hell yeah, brother.
Bring in the steampunk Aviendha.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Finally, make yourself worth something in the narrative.
Yeah. That place, baby girl.
This is Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. I'm Emily Dusha.
I'm Sally Goodger, and this is Ed.
This is Ed, if you can hear him. Yeah, Aviendha's still trying to fight Grendel, and it's like, why is it so hard to kill this lady, you know?
We've not been led before this to believe that Grendel is particularly powerful.
Yeah, Grendel's kind of like most of the female Forsaken, I will say, kind of a figure who seems to operate better in the shadows than in duels.
Yeah.
But at one point, Grendel is fighting Cadsuan, Amis, like 2 other Aes Sedai, and Aviendha, and is like holding her own, and I'm like, that doesn't seem right, given what I understand about the sort of Forsaken duels we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
And like, I know it was really cool that Nynaeve took on Moghedien on her own, and like basically won, but I think what that means is that Nynaeve and Elaine taking on Moghedien together would have kicked her ass. You know, 2-on-1 is sort of all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need 6 on.
Yeah,
What?
6 on Grendel.
Singing on Grendel?
She doesn't even have a big sangreal
Yeah, she's
that we
just
know of.
her.
Yeah.
And her little swarm of puppets
Yeah.
who are dying in friendly fire or no longer can channel, so...
Do you guys remember Sakura's fight in Shippuden with the puppet guys?
Yeah, I think about it all the time.
Yeah, me
And
too.
Granny.
Yeah, and Granny.
Granny, my bestie.
Granny, my bestie. Anyway, the puppet ninjutsu is very odd.
Yeah.
That's my note. That's all I have.
I mean, it sure is.
It's very weird for every...
Yeah, that was Sakura's one good fight.
Yeah, Kishimoto said feminism one time.
But only one time and never again.
And that exhausted him.
He was like, oh God.
He really scraped the bottom of his creative capacity.
Women's rights. I spent so long thinking about them. And that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Avienda is a shale goal. That battlefield is getting fucked due to both balefire being used excessively by Grendel and her cohort, and just sort of shale goal being fucky because of Rand's battle with the Dark One. So that's fun, but Avienda is running around trying to kill Grendel. At one point, she and Amis are like, let's loop around and ambush her. And then Avienda gets attacked by Ruark and she kills him. He's obviously wearing a veil. I'm surprised this doesn't become an issue more with the ale. They all kind of wear like a uniform.
friendly
and
fire.
They all famously look alike, so...
You know, classic racialized
Classic
stuff.
ethnicities,
Yeah.
yeah, they all just look exactly the same, tall and ginger. Just so you guys know, the clouds are shaping the yin-yang.
Is that what's on the cover?
I think
Oh,
it's
not on this
the
one.
other
On
cover, on
yeah.
the Daryl K. Sweet cover, yeah. That's in the sky.
Which feels...
A little excessive.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I think it's enough that, like, lightning is freezing in place and...
Yeah, the Sea Folk have been using the Bull of the Winds this whole time, but now it's kind of like they can't anymore, so the weather's also fucked.
Yeah.
Then we get a point of view from a guy named Mishraile.
Call me Ahab.
Call me Mishraile. And I don't know what to tell you guys about Mishraile. He's evil, and you can tell he's evil because he keeps having thoughts like, I should just kill that guy.
Gosh, I just gotta get
This
it over
guy,
with.
I just gotta kill him. I think things would be better if I killed this guy. Well, that could solve my problem, but I'd have to kill them. God, do I love killing.
Yeah.
It sure brings me joy.
Michelle's walking around with a shirt that says I heart killing on it.
And you're like, okay, the subtlety, it's astounding.
Out the window, baby.
Yeah, it's necessary to switch. Okay, this is with some sarcasm I'm saying this, I'm just warning you. It's necessary to switch to a bad guy's point of view so that we too can be fooled by Pavara and Andrel's clever ruse to lure these dread lords into an Ogier steading where they can no longer channel and can be taken captive by the old Ogier, who are like, yeah, we love
holding evil people hostage.
we love this dog. And I'm like, okay, honestly, slay. Ogier can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
And I would be like, sweet, I love this addition to the narrative.
Yeah.
So that's funny. But yeah, we're, I guess, supposed to be like, wow, what could be happening? But their clever ruse is that one of them disguises themselves as Rand and then just sort of like runs across screen, freeze frames long enough to like make eye contact with the Dark Ones, and then Looney Tunes runs off again, and they're like, after him! You know, it's cartoonish.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not stupid. I know Rand isn't here. And I know this is a trick. So it's really not necessary to be in a Dark Friend's point of view. Also, this whole scene isn't necessary at all.
Yeah, they were like, do you remember Alviarin? And I was like, no.
No, and
I have never thought about her.
Ever since she left, I've been like, okay, but good riddance.
Bye.
She's just another name on the list of bad guys to me. I see it and I'm like, I don't assign a personality to this. This is just It's like I delete the name and just insert evil in all caps, and I'm like, okay, evil guy, evil henchman.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who gives a shit? Yeah, who the fuck is Mishraile? I don't know. Who the fuck are any of these people? But, yeah, the Brandon Sanderson, Andrel Pavara agenda keeps coming to us, especially in the climactic moment of this, when they come back from luring the bad guys into the Ogier setting. They go back to where the Camelin remember Gavroche and all of his children? That's come around to haunt us.
They're killing all the children, Logain.
They're killing all the children, Logain. And also everyone else.
But the children we put on the battlefield specifically, thinking there's no way they would kill the children.
They obey the Geneva Convention.
Trollocs are famous for not committing war crimes.
Yeah. It's ludicrous. Luda.
Truly.
Who would you cast if Ludacris had to be in the Wheel of Time?
If Ludacris had to be in the Wheel of Time. What's the funniest possible?
Asmodean.
Oh my gosh, Ludacris says if Asmodean was a rapper, are you kidding? That would be sensational.
That would be really funny.
Oh, it would be so good.
Yeah, this whole scenario is silly to the extreme. It's the most obvious attempt to narratively entrap Logain in a situation wherein he has to do the right thing because doing anything other than the right thing would make him a monster.
Yeah, and it was very bizarre to me. Whatever. It's fun to finally use the steading and the fact that you can't channel therein for like some productive
that was cute.
purpose.
I liked that.
I really enjoyed that. But then we like cut either, I don't know if it's the next point of view or after there recently, but to Logain, who's like evilly walking around trying to get his
twirling
big
his mustaches.
sangreal.
Yeah, he's like, give me that MacGuffin. And
Yeah.
they're like, we found the MacGuffin, but not only is it trapped in crystal, but it seems like you're going to have to use balefire to get out of it, which we're all like, yeah, using balefire, the famously evil thing to do. And also very counterproductive in terms of eggs sacrifice. Not that Logain personally knows about that, but...
Yeah, and then people run up and are like, okay, Logain, you have the seals of the Dark One's prison. We need them. And Logain's like, no.
No.
And it's like, his whole thing is being like, I want power in this world because I've been disempowered by two major political bodies, the White Tower and the Black Tower. He underwent... Logain is a shitty character, but he did undergo, like, extreme traumas at the hands of both of those people. So this isn't, like, an unexpected response to be like, I would like to set myself up on the other side of the last battle in a position of power. Mm-hmm. But when he's like, I'm not going to go help those refugees, and everyone's like, the children, it's like...
Andrel literally is weeping and going, Logain, please, the children.
Yeah, and you're like, okay... Shut up. No offense. I don't need you right now. It's a little dramatic. But it's also just like, Logain has never been set up to be that kind of bad guy that would just like not go help children that are being slaughtered. So It feels very out of character, is my point here.
Logain is being forced into such an important position in the last battle, despite being... It's a little bit like Lan, actually. Yeah. Despite being a B or even a C character throughout this entire series, he suddenly has A character status. Yeah. He suddenly has the power to break the seals on the Dark One's prison. Yeah. We're getting lots of point of views from him as he's running around doing important things, and it's like... I get it. There was a necessary... component of the series at this point, which was that we're having women channelers represented via Egg and the White Tower, so we equally need male channelers to be represented via the good guys at the Black Tower. But they just really beefed it on the setup. Like, Logain has been largely absent in the Black Tower, and then when he was there, it turned out he was trapped in a basement being tortured, so we never saw him. Like, I think largely... Brandon Sanderson beefed it because he could have had Logain point of views in the Black Tower instead of Andrel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And chose not to do that, which I understand if all you were going to do with Logain at that point was have him be tortured. No one wants to just go to points of view of a guy getting tortured. But we could have maybe thought outside the box here a little bit. Had some, like, political stuff going on between Logain and Mazrim Tem, which we didn't. And that might have set up Logain to be more of a important, sympathetic character at this juncture.
Yeah.
Because right now when we see him, we're just like, oh, Logain, that guy I'd never cared about.
Yeah, that creepy, rapey guy.
Yeah, because he's literally never done anything redemptive in his entire life.
Yeah.
Any sort of quote-unquote good thing that Logain has done has been at the behest of someone else or because that was the thing that he needed to do to serve his own interests.
Yeah. Which is like, yeah, if Logain was given more attention and was less of a creep, I'd be like, interesting anti-hero.
Yeah. If you want to build an anti-hero, though, you've got to build an anti-hero.
Gotta build him instead of just being like, I'll pull on Logain when I need someone who is vaguely evil and a very powerful channeler to be like, maybe I won't break the seals on the Dark One's prison. Maybe I won't go save all these kids. When it's like, he's never really been that type of, again, he's very self-serving, but he also has a hero complex. So, like, of course he would run at the chance to be
worshipped by people who would be like, wow, Logain, thanks for saving our children, who we put on the battlefield for some reason.
And Logain could be like, that is on you, but...
Yeah, I think we all need to talk about choices that were made.
Logain sits everyone down and is like, I have developed the first ever installment of Wheel of Time Child Protective Services, and I'm taking all your kids.
Now there's where Logain's glory can be found. Yeah, we're largely trying to give Logain a, like, heroism arc within the last 200 pages of this book by taking him from unclear motivations or self-centered motivations to, oh, now he's going to do what I cannot emphasize enough is the absolute baseline good thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, think of the children as very famously, like, a manipulative propaganda tool.
Yeah.
In order to get people to have pathos for whatever you're selling.
Yeah.
It's used to start moral panics. And so it is, like, triggers in us this sort of, like, immediate, you know, protective instinct. Which, like, yeah, everyone wants to protect children. That's normal.
Totally.
But, like, it's so no one responds to think of the children with, fuck them kids. You know, at least not really.
Yeah, not unless you are literally a cartoon villain.
Yeah.
Like...
So... like, for Logain to be like, well, I don't know about that. Children, that's a price I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
And we're just adding a level of absurdity here in the fact that there are fucking children on the battlefield.
Yeah, it feels like in part the children are here just to give Logain...
Literally.
As
they
if...
were just shoehorned in. Yeah.
So that Logain had no other choice but to be good. And it's like, but the point is, it's more interesting if someone chooses to be good.
Yeah.
If Logain could be at the last battle being like, lots of bad things happened to me, but that still doesn't mean I want to choose the side of the dark or whatever, or even choose ambivalence. I want to choose to be good like everybody else.
Yeah, this would be a very different situation if, for example, I don't know, a random group of Shanshin were being attacked and decimated. And if Logain was like, well, the value of human life is such that I need to go save them regardless of how anything works out.
Yeah.
That would be different. But, like, instead we've put in children on the battlefield where they should not be to begin with, just so that Logain can step over the bar that is in hell and be like, I'm a good guy now, and I'm a hero. And you're like,
okay,
this is such manipulative, weird bullshit, both to Logain and to me as a reader.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys think I'm rooting for Logain now? Because he rescued children that you endangered?
Crazy how we could have just not put kids on the battlefield.
No, it's so crazy how that works out. I don't know what to tell you guys. My god. I just can't. I can't with Logain.
Truly, like, why is Logain here? If Logain wasn't going to fight Mazrim Tem, why is he here?
Yeah, he's serving no purpose. Like, and I still don't think Logain should be the one to break the seals. Seal Watch. They are currently in Logain's possession. He has been told that there will be some sort of signal that he'll know that when it's time to break the seals, that there will be some light of some kind. And he's like, okay.
And then me, Logain, the shittiest man you know, will be in charge of this very key part of the last battle.
And you're like, could no one else do this? No one?
Who's the Amerlin now?
Yeah, what's the
I feel like you guys should have elected
the line of succession.
Battlefield Amerlin. Where's Sylviana?
Yeah, Sylviana becomes Amerlin just because of succession rules. Yeah, there isn't a line of succession. That's like a main problem with the Aes Sedai.
They have to do all this election nonsense.
Democracy! Don't you hate it? More of a parliamentary monarchy, I guess. We do a lot of flashing back to Aviendha, but Aviendha's attacking Grendel and spears her because, get it, it's narrative resonance with how Aviendha used to have a real spear, just in case you're stupid and you missed that.
Thank you for explaining it to me. I really was a little confused in that moment.
Everyone was.
I just don't know how weapons work. I'm just a woman, you know.
I'm just hysterical. Aviendha makes a magic spear and gets Grendel, but Grendel also travels at the same time, so then she and Aviendha are stuck in a different place, and also Aviendha's legs get blown up.
And she doesn't even kill Grendel.
Sorry, yeah, Grendel's not even dead. And I'm like, this is agonizing. We're all trapped in a saw trap together.
Put me out of my misery.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, we're really trying to make sure that every single character has some sort of life or death moment, some sort of crucial thing that they're doing on the battlefield. And for Aviendha, it's taking out Grendel, but she can't just do that, even though Aviendha's very powerful and Grendel's not.
She just snipe her and be like, well, that wasn't hard at all.
Yeah. God, what, it's hard?
Please, Andrel whispered. So soft. Children, Logain.
They're slaughtering the children. It's not just that the children are dying. The children are being slaughtered.
Logain closed his eyes.
Yeah, we're left on his moment of indecision, as though we're gonna be
Logain
flashback to Logain.
Sitting there, head in his hands,
guys.
being like, I could choose to be an evil megalomaniac, or I could choose to go help the children that are being slaughtered. What choice am I possibly going to make?
I don't know. And we're like, where am I? I wish I was dead.
Again, put me out of my misery.
Yeah, fucking snipe me. Matt's with the Heroes of the Horn and is like, hey, am I a hero of the Horn? And they're like, no. And he's like, that's weird. How's that work? And they're like, we don't know. And I'm like, you don't know? Don't you get orientation?
Does anybody know?
Where's the Horn of Valere orientation?
The Horn talks to you.
Yeah, the Horn's like, listen, bitch.
Welcome to my orientation.
You were selected.
You were selected based on the following criteria.
The following qualifications. You don't interview very well, though, so that's why Matt didn't get picked, I guess. Yeah. Matt's like, probably I'm not a hero of the Horn because I would hate it. And they're like, yeah, fair enough. That's a good reason. Yeah. It would be Matt's version of hell to have to go back and fight.
All the time.
Yeah. Anyway, the battle is going well.
Shanshan come back.
Yeah, the Shanshan come back. Literally, the battle is more or less finished. But Matt is like, okay, I need to go talk to Tuon, but I don't really want to. And I'm feeling this tugging that I need to get back to Rand. And it's like, he remembers how the Heroes of the Horn were like, you owe him your life. As though to indicate, Matt, again, we're given a moment of decision that's meant to be narratively resonant, but isn't, because we already know what the character is going to choose. I don't believe Matt would have chosen not to go to Rand if the Heroes of the Horn hadn't reminded him that Rand saved his life.
Yeah.
That's the point of Matt's character arc, is that he is going to do his duty now.
Yeah. And, also he always has. Matt has always gone to help his friends when they need him.
Yeah, famously. We also could have made this better. Rand could have been like, Matt, promise me you'll be there when I need you. And Matt could have been like, I promise.
Yeah.
And we could have gone back to how Matt always keeps his promises. Something, you know?
Hilariously, Matt sends Artur Hawkwing to talk to Tuon.
I know, I actually was like, cunt.
Yeah.
Honestly?
Like, honestly, no one ate harder in that moment than be like, well, you go talk to these people that are convinced that because they're your descendants, they're entitled to the whole planet.
And it would have been hilarious. Like, I don't know if we really get resolution on this. I'm sure Tuon in her imperialist nonsense is like, that was not relevant. But it would have been so funny if Artur Hawkwing was like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop. Or maybe Artur Hawkwing is like, I love colonialism.
You're right. We have no way of
He is our
knowing.
sort of Alexander
Yeah.
the Great figure, so I guess he would probably be
He'd
like...
probably be on this side
Well,
of...
first he'd probably be like, ugh, a black woman in charge? What are you doing?
Tragic.
No, I'm optimistic that Artur Hawkwing could be like, you guys need to stop it, and actually, you need to not do your war crimes. And the Shrunch would be like, oh, Daddy told us no.
Oh, Daddy's mad at me.
He's mad at great-great-grandpa. Artur Hawkwing should be like, I'm not related to you. I was a virgin.
He was like, I'm asexual.
I'm asexual. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't fuck, patently.
Yeah. Like, honestly.
And then everyone's like, what? He's like, yeah, never fucked in my life.
There was a whole succession crisis about it.
Yeah, so uninterested in
Just
that.
like Alexander the Great before me.
Yeah.
Who did fuck, but
Boys.
mostly boys.
Fuck the boys!
Oh, that little lunatic. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, then Brandon is really paying the price of his own fucking
And now you've got a
capitalizing.
whole page of, like, all caps, and I'm like, this is meaningless now.
Yeah, and it's like you can hardly tell who's talking. He has to enter a dialogue tag at some point, and it's so awkward because it's like...
Rand said softly.
Yeah.
He's speaking in all caps.
He did not say softly.
He did not say that. So, do you know how that works? Anyway, Rand's like, hey, fuck, we have had, like, 8 little Rand snippets in the last few chapters, and they are all effectively the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Which is just Rand being like, fuck you, man. And
Yeah.
the Darkman being like, ooh, I'm so scared. And I'm like, could we have had one of these?
Yeah.
This is beginning to feel like an anime fight where it's just redundant.
Yeah, right now we're flashing back to the Dark One's entire tragic backstory.
Yeah.
And if this was Naruto, we'd have a 15-episode sidebar.
Arc about how he is actually related to Lamb somehow because
Yeah.
they always know the mentor figure somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my word, you guys.
Let me die.
Yeah, let me die. Let Rand die. He's trying. Avienda and Grendel are both still alive somehow. Avienda opens a gateway to try and get back to Amis. And Grendel's like, legit, it's like a horror movie. Grendel's gut bleeding, but kind of holding the blood in and is like limping after her. And Avienda's trying to crawl away. And you're like,
What in the
was
final
this
girl?
necessary? Yeah, why is this happening? Okay, then we get Perrin waking up.
Fucking loser.
Perrin wakes up and finds that Chiad is there. Chiad's a guy Shane at the moment, if you don't remember. Perrin's like, huh, what's going on? What's the update? And Chiad's like, well, it's all Gucci over at the Fields of Marilor, but it's still going on over at Shale Goal. We don't know what's up with Rand. Perrin's like, I gotta get out of bed and get going. He says to Chiad, why are you here? And Chiad's like, is Gaul fucking alive? And Perrin's like, oh, fuck.
My buddy!
I forgot Gaul.
I gotta go get him.
He's like the mom in Home Alone when he realizes they forgot Kevin. Kevin! Gaul! He's like, I gotta go back to the world of dreams, but first I've gotta get an Aes Sedai to make my fatigue go away. And Chiad's like, yeah, I literally don't give a shit about your life, but I do care about Gaul, so I will go fetch one. Perrin's like, great. Then Master Luhan comes in for some reason.
Because give Perrin fucking character realization that he doesn't need.
Yeah, Perrin, this is like what's happening with Rand and the Dark One. We have gone over this exact same conversation. This is what happens when you write 14 books, you guys.
You gotta run. You'll eventually run out of
You'll
stuff
run
to
out
say.
of stuff for you'll run out of ways for the character to grow. Master Luhan's like, Perrin's like, wow, I really went too hard, and then I beefed it and was unconscious for the whole last battle. And Master Luhan's like, okay, let's shift your perspective a little bit. Like, you would feel a lot of regret if you didn't go really hard. It's the last battle. Don't hold yourself back. And Perrin's like, oh my god, I never thought of it that way. And I'm like, you didn't? In the last 14 books, you didn't? I thought you'd thought of that 6 times already.
Yeah, Master Luhan goes on this fucking metaphor about how Perrin used to always hold his teacups so delicately because he was so strong and he was always trying to control himself, but sometimes you have to let the rage boil over. And it's like, was that not what happened? Especially with the failed kidnapping arc. Did we not go over this? I am dumbfounded. Bamboozled.
This is also a great example of why you need to, as a writer, maybe like read your dialogue that you've written aloud.
Oh god, yeah.
Just to hear if, would anyone say this? Would anyone speak like this? Master Luhan is suddenly a Shakespearean character. He's like, I've watched you hold a teacup with extreme delicacy, as if you feared breaking it with your strength. And I'm like, is this man
trying to fuck him? What's
happening? Is Master Luhan trying to seduce Perrin at this point? At this juncture? Who knows? No. Yeah, maybe write dialogue normal, Brandon.
Yeah, people, sorry to make a bad joke about Master Luhan trying to seduce his student, but he sounds silly. He
sounds very silly.
Only Thom later will sound sillier than this. So.
Then we get some more closure that we don't need. This is just like chapter title, closure that no one needed. Master Luhan's like, it's so sad how all your family got killed by Trollocs. And Perrin's like, actually, it was Padan Fain. And Master Luhan's like, whoa, really? And Perrin's like, yeah, for sure. And this is, in case you forgot, our first reminder that Padan Fain is still alive. Somehow.
And you're like, I wish he wasn't.
You're like, hey, what?
Is there still time in this book for that bitch to come back? I don't think so. Let's be done.
There's really, 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 really not. But we're going to do it anyway. We're going to suffer through this. I guess there was Aviendha in her last few points of view kept being like, there's some crazy mist running around and some weird Trollocs attacking each other. So that is another hint that Padan Fain has re-entered the battlefield. But again, what the fuck? Then Masuri, one of the Aes Sedai who'd been hanging out with Perrin, in his whole arc, comes in and is like, I'm here to fix you magically. Perrin's like, great. By the way, why were you meeting with Massima? And she's like, I just thought I could manipulate him. The way all Aes Sedai do. And Perrin's like, oh, that was kind of anticlimactic. And we're like, yeah, it literally stopped mattering almost as soon as it happened. Anyway, then Perrin goes into the world of dreams.
He's back.
Yeah. Perrin does have a funny moment where he forgets that he's not in Teleron Riad and tries to summon his hammer Thor style and then is like, oh.
Cringe.
Whoops.
I gotta get up and get that.
Whoopsie. Anyway, Perrin goes into the wolf dream and is like, I have to go help Rand. Then we get a long Thom point of view where he is, the important thing is that he's sitting outside the cavern at Shale Gul, and we're finding that people keep trying to get past Thom and he keeps killing them because he's like, yeah, not getting past me. That's it. In terms of like the actual things that are going on, the 6 pages of it, the 3.5 pages of it actually are a meta commentary on the art of writing that is particularly cringy when it's A, written like this, and B, written by Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon ultimately lands on describing the battle as exquisite.
And you're like,
huh.
That's so interesting. Wow. I wish I was dead.
Yeah, Thom is going through all these adjectives. He's like, I can't call it epic or terrifying because all those words are expected. So instead, I will call the battle for the end of the world exquisite.
And you're like, okay, I don't care. One thing that really cracked me up was then he's like, I can't use an adverb to describe it. It should just be a strong word. And I'm like, Brandon, so you know that conceptually. So you understand that conceptually.
Yeah. But not
enough to utilize it in your own writing. That's so crazy how that works. Yeah, it takes a bold person to insert into their fiction a writer or a creative character.
Yeah.
Or like, say, a poet who's very good at what they do, and then use your own writing to back that up.
Yeah.
Be like, if your character's like, I'm a world-class poet, here's one of my poems, and then we have to read the poem, and you're probably not a world-class poet as the person who's writing this fiction.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, writing poems and writing fiction is very different.
Yeah, so it's like, it takes a bold person to be like, I'm going to write a character who's sort of spouting off writing advice and is trying to be such a good writer, and the readers are supposed to think that he's this excellent writer, and I'm using my own writing skills to back that up.
Yeah.
Like, that takes a lot of gumption, and not to belabor the point, it does take the ability to back it up.
Yeah.
As we've said before, Brandon has many strong suits. Prose itself is not one of them. So having Thom be prose focused is not particularly great.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're right. It is so cringy to have a
I was like
a poet
gnawing
character
on my fingers while this was happening. I was like, haha.
Not to overuse the phrase cringe, but it is just like, it feels very masturbatory at a certain point to be like, I have a character in my novel who is a world-class writer.
Yeah, it feels very In the Name of the Wind.
And my brother Ian was telling me the plot of the second In the Name of the Wind book, and the entire time I was like, he does what? He goes to fairyland? There's a sex goddess?
He fucks the sex goddess, and she's like, wow, that was the best sex I've ever had. And we're like, supposed to root for this guy.
Yeah, I was truly
shook.
Yeah, I was speechless. And it was like, and Ian was like, and then he goes and sees some monks who like don't know how babies are made, and I was like, what's happening? What's going on?
I can't emphasize enough that one of the skills that they don't tell you about being any sort of creator is you need to be self-aware.
Yeah, babes. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been using it a lot. I don't particularly like the word cringe as it is frequently used, which is to like describe things that have fallen out of trend.
Yeah.
More or less, Has Been Hotel is cringe because I enjoyed it 3 months ago, but now it's no longer cool to enjoy it. Blah, 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 blah. It's just shorthand for uncool.
Yeah.
But there is an element of, like, secondhand embarrassment here that is best expressed by the word cringe.
Yeah, like, I am actually cringing physically.
Yeah, I'm like, oh gosh, I wish this was a little different.
Yeah, she dropped like a sack of potatoes. That's an overused term, it is.
A sack of potatoes, I'll do a different simile. And you're like, I'm exhausted.
I'm no paleontologist.
I'm not Emily Dickinson. And I'm not Langston Hughes.
And I'm not trying to be.
Yeah, and I know that, and I'm gonna stay in my fucking lane.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have 2 sections left in the book proper.
That's crazy.
And the next section is going to cover 4 or 5, maybe 6 chapters, let's see. 5 chapters, some of which are very, very short, like
Wowza.
2 pages long. And we're going to get into a lot of... We're not going to get into it, but there will be more action. And if we so choose, next section, there's a lot going on, so we might decide to split that into 2 episodes, talking about the same section generally, just because we're hopping around so much. So just know that in advance.
We might Breaking Dawn it.
Second to penultimate episode, part 1. Penultimate episode, part 2. And then the final
ultimate episode.
Which will just cover the epilogue. But the epilogue's pretty fucking long, so, I mean, lots going on.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. Sorry if you're just, like, listening to us like, wow, these guys hate this book. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I kind of do, though.
It's been a tough one to get through.
And really hard when you know that the epic highs and lows of Wheel of
Of
Time,
high school football.
yeah, include the epic highs of The Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
And now we're at the epic lows.
Yeah, of Thom writing about the exquisite massacres that are happening in the valley beneath him.
If Thom only knew about the children.
There's Thom. They're slaughtering the children.
Slaughtering!
And Logain is only thinking about helping. He's not rushing
Hasn't
over
done it
there.
yet.
Think of all the tourniquets.
Think of all the tourniquets that they have to tie. This is just like when Gavroche died.
This is just like when Gavroche died.
Okay, thanks for listening.
Sorry to make light of children being slaughtered on the battlefield.
Well, they really
it's
asked
it's
for
bad.
it. Yeah.
It's an atrocious thing to have people even conceive
I can't
of.
believe this. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Glenn McKenzie for our theme song. And thanks to our patrons on Patreon and our followers on social media.
Yeah, thanks so much, you guys. We sure do like you a lot.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a sign off?
Did you have one?
I was driving to work just this morning on the main freeway that cuts through Utah, which is like 6-7 lanes wide.
Yeah.
It's a huge freeway system because it's the only north-south corridor in Utah. So I was in the far left lane, going 80 in a 70 mile per hour speed zone.
Speed demon.
Well, that's how fast the guy in front of me was going, and the guy in front of him, and the guy in front of him. We were all in the lane together going at the normal speed, which is 10 miles above the speed limit. The highest speed you can go without probably getting pulled over. And I was just vibing, doing my thing.
Yeah.
Someone comes up behind. I noticed someone's like tailgating me pretty aggressively, but I'm like, I don't know. I can't go any faster, buddy. There's a guy in front of me. What do you want me to do? Well, they pull around me, get in front of me, in the limited space that they have, flash their brake lights a bunch of times, and then I see their silhouette point aggressively to the right lane, indicating that they think I should have moved over to allow them to pass. And I was like, I'm not the problem here, buddy. I mostly was pretty amused by it. The punchline of this story is that not 5 minutes later they got pulled over. So karmic retribution strikes in the unlikely form of the traffic police.
Yeah, seriously.
But just a little Utah road rage at 8:30 a.m. It was pretty silly.
Truly, where
I know.
do you
I
think
was
you're
just like,
going?
okay, you can get there 5 seconds faster than I do.
It's like that.
Drive
Have you
to
seen
win.
that Tumblr post that's like, wow, you got to the red light so much faster and more
Should we
dangerous.
call Beyonce? Should we call
NASCAR?
Should we call NASCAR? That's where I was at, but then they got pulled over and I was like, wow, I really should call NASCAR.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Bitch. Idiot.
Okay. So that's it.
Utah drivers are the worst.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.